Okay guys, this is the third time I'm making this video. I'm going nuts here, but I just made a little cheat sheet here. I'm going to try and go through it really quickly. Basically, this video is about Chosen Ninja, Greg Park. Greg was a buddy of mine up until very recently. Obviously, if you go to youtube.com/chosenninja, you can see his videos there and things like that. Basically, to get right into it, I met Greg Park through a guy named Russ. He and I were discussing the possibility of me making and selling weapons for nintaijutsu. Of course, I make, let's say in quotations here, weapons. I can make pretty much anything, and Russ said that he would get in touch with Greg and get me to talk to Greg about my potentially making an exclusive brand of nintaijutsu items. I of course said, okay, cool, I'm all for it. Russ mentioned me getting half the revenue from it, so I was obviously very interested, considering at the time Greg had like 22,000, 23,000 subscribers. So anyways, moving along, starting to talk to Greg was decent. I mean, he was a nice guy. He was very welcoming. You know, seemed like a really genuine, sincere guy. You know, he would talk a lot about philosophy and things like that. And a lot of the things I didn't really care too much about, but I thought at least, you know, he's a nice guy. He's got his mind in the right place. He's always talking about sorry, excuse me, how he wants to teach people for free and all this kind of thing. And I thought that was nice, you know, like looking at his YouTube. He had a lot of demonstrations, like bow demonstrations and the chaku demonstrations, and he did some self-defense stuff that I was looking at, and I thought, you know, like, he's pretty good. He's at least got some level of skill, so, you know, I thought that he would be a good contact, obviously, because of the, you know, he was launching this new website, so I thought I could obviously make some money off of it. Not to, you know, sound shallow or anything, but, you know, that's my main reason why I started talking to him in the first place. But, you know, like, at the time, you know, taking nothing away from him, he did seem like a nice, sincere guy, so I figured I'd continue talking to him. First impression was good. So, you know, over time, discussing things with him, from weapons fabrication right to, you know, just general everyday stuff, started to get, I guess, to be buddies with him. And Greg introduced me to a lot of his assistant instructors. Let me say air quotes here, and assistant instructors. My impression of the assistant instructors, except for one, I'll get into that later. But my impression was that these were a bunch of guys who were unqualified. They like I don't have really any sort of qualification myself. But yeah, Greg, I did receive the uniform, buddy. Bang bang. Greg wanted me to be an assistant instructor. I am not qualified to instruct at all. I actually informed him that when he said a long time ago that he was going to send me a uniform, but he told me not to argue. So yeah, he sent me one with a black belt. I don't know what I'm a black belt in. I guess Chosen DTG Karate, as it says on the gi that he sent me, which is really low weight. But you know, I digress, but, you know, his assistant instructors that I met, they seemed like decent guys. A lot of them were really quick to you know, get hostile and things like that, but they seemed like generally decent guys, just with no sort of qualifications at all. Guys who are like, you know, 4th and 5th Q in Bujinkan, who are saying that they're an instructor and they're, you know, showing people taijutsu techniques and things like that. And, you know, of course, I'm not one to talk because I don't really have a lot of skill at all. But I just thought that was really not the kind of guy that should be teaching people who are watching this for free. But I guess, you know, you get what you pay for, so I didn't let it I didn't let it affect me too much. Of course, on the other side, on the personal side, Greg was still a nice guy, even though he seemed like, you know, his whole concept of martial arts instruction, like when I talked to him, it just seemed like to go lower and lower. But anyways, moving right along, as I was getting, you know, a little bit more chatty with Greg, as time progressed, he would start asking me to post flaming comments to his haters. He said he has this group of haters and critics that were always criticizing his videos and things like that. And, you know, personally, I wasn't into the YouTube thing, so I didn't really give a shit. So I figured that, you know, it's not a big deal. I'll do it. I'll post the comments because, you know, he's a nice guy, and maybe people shouldn't be slandering him and things like that. So I just said, yeah, forget it. I'll do it. So there was like 2 or 3 separate occasions where I would post a comment that he would ask me to post. He was asking me to post it so that he didn't look bad, but of course I'm making myself look like an idiot. But when I don't care about something, I really didn't care, so I figured screw it. So yeah, he even asked me, he went so far as to ask me to register a second account in order to post things for him, and I said that I couldn't do that. I said I wouldn't do that, but I couldn't anyways because I only have one email address, so it would be impossible for me to do so. So anyways, after that, I guess things kind of like faded out a little bit with the whole haters and critics thing as far as I'm concerned. Like, he didn't really concern me too much with that. He would talk a little bit about how you know, this one YouTube user, Scutbay, was dead, or Scutbio was dead, sorry, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But he would ask me, you know, what I think of this YouTube user. And of course, you know, I didn't really investigate the guy too much. I didn't look into him at all. I didn't even watch his videos. I just post the comments and then leave. And, you know, I obviously told him I have nothing to say. Like, I don't know what to say. He seems like an educated guy. Like, he's always talking about things like Shurikijutsu. He's, you know, he's got books and things like that. He's obviously an intelligent guy. So, so Greg said that he was a piece of shit, and said that he would, yes, and Greg Park does swear at everybody that's got their mouth hanging open. He swears a lot. But anyways, he said that he would like to go to New Jersey and kick Scott's ass. He said, and I quote, "Remember, Matt, I teach police." He said that he has an inside edge. He can get anybody's address, he can get anybody's phone number, and he said one day he'll just show up in New Jersey outside of Scott's house and look at him through the window and challenge him to come outside, and then watch Scott run away and never come out. I said, wouldn't it be better just to ask him out for tea, remember your message? And Greg was laughing like it was sarcastic, but whatever. Anyways, moving right along, Greg at one point asked me to do an interview. I know a lot of people were saying, like, where did your interview go? Well, I took it down. It's a piece of crap. It's fraud. Greg basically interviewed himself. He sent me a list of questions, even though in his interview he says, you know, a lot of people were asking me to do an interview. The only reason I'm giving it to Matt is because he's the first guy to actually send me questions. BS. Greg sent me the questions. I just narrated them for him to be nice. Anyways, at that point I thought, you know, things are getting a little bit weird. This isn't the same guy that made the first impression, a good first impression. So, you know, obviously my impression of him is sliding pretty much since day one. But I'm a nice guy. I believe in, you know, the fact that everybody needs a chance. And I was talking to a couple of his assistant instructors, and they shared the same opinion that you know, his personality is really showing, and it's sliding. He's not the good guy that he always, you know, he's always doing these teachings, you know, love and tolerance and patience, and you know, don't have any ego or pride, but yet obviously there is all the time. You know, is just like that and things like that. So we would discuss these things, and you know, I'm not the only person that feels this way. So anyways, at one point here's my notes here. He asked me to, well, I was in a chat room, and him and his few of his fellow instructors, excuse me, were saying that it would be beneficial to have somebody fake like they were leaving the taijutsu, just so they could infiltrate the haters and critics group, so that Greg could find out their next move. And that was in Greg's words. He wanted to find out their next move. So I sent Greg a message, obviously, and I said, hey, well, like, you actually serious about this? You want somebody to do that? And he said yes, and he actually got into history with me, talking about how ninja of the past would you know, befriend their enemies so that they could infiltrate, you know, get all these secrets from them and then report back to their masters, and that's when I just kind of saw it as this whole fantasy ninja thing. So I just said, forget it. I told Greg, oh, I'll do it, and I just stopped talking to him altogether. When I did that, his instructors, when they saw that I wasn't subscribed to them anymore, I terminated my friendship with them on YouTube. They got all offended. So, they started insulting me and things like that, bashing me in emails on YouTube.